Chapter 17. I've been here too long. The longer I stay, the more likely it is that someone will see me. But I have to do this now. It could be my only chance. Mark straps the baby into the back of the car and Anna slides into the adjacent seat. Mark closes the car door. He stands for a second with his palms flat on the roof of the car, like that. He concealed from Anna, but I can see the anxiety on his face. Is he worried about Anna, the baby, or something else? He walks back to the side of the house where Robert is lingering, pretending to move some pots about. I feel panic building inside me, even though he can't touch me, can't even see me. The two men talk in low tones through the railings, and I wonder if Anna can hear the same snippets I do. Still grieving, very difficult, a touch of postnatal depression. I wait, then drive away. They drive away. Robert abandons his plant pots and goes back inside. And then it's time. A single breath later, I am through the locked door and standing in the hall, instantly overwhelmed with sensation, assaulted by memories I never imagined would have lingered. Painting the skirting boards, nearly awkwardly over my growing bump, piling duvets on the stairs while pint-sized Anna to sledge down. You egged her on, me with my fingers over my eyes. Playing happy families, hiding how we really felt, how easily life changes, how easily happiness disintegrates, the drinking, the shouting, the fights. I kept it from Anna. I could at least do that for her. I checked myself. The time for being maudlin is long enough, long gone, too late to dwell on the past. I moved quickly and silently through the house. My touch feather light. I leave no mess, no prints, no trace. I want to see the papers Anna put to one side, my diary, the photographs, that only tell a story when you know the way it reads. I look for the key that would tell everyone why I had to die. I find nothing. In the study, I work my way efficiently through the drawers. I ignore the staples nostalgia that pierce deeply within each trinket and notebook I pick up. You can't take it with you. That's what they say. I remember an old school project on the grave goods selected by ancient Egyptians designed to smooth the deceased passage to the afterlife. Anna spent weeks on a painting of a sarcophagus, surrounded by carefully drawn images of her own precious belongings, her iPod, salt vinegar crisp six packs, portraits she's drawn of you and me, a favourite scarf in case she got cold. I smile at the memory and consider what I would have taken had it been possible, what would have made my afterlife more bearable. There is no key, not in any of the bags dotted about downstairs or in the drawers of the dresser in the hall where everything accumulates when it doesn't have a home. What has Anna done with it? Chapter 18. Murray. I found my mother's diary from last year. Anna handed him a thick A4 diary. I think it might help piece together her movements. They were sitting in the kitchenette behind the front door at Lower Mead Police Station, where Murray had first spoken to Anna Johnson. Anna's partner Mark was with her, and together they had reported one of the strangest occurrences Murray had ever been asked to investigate. Mark Hemmings had thick dark hair and glasses that were currently pushed up on his forehead. He was sitting back in his chair with one ankle on the knee of his other leg. His right arm rested on the back of Anna's chair. Anna Johnson took up half the space of her partner. She sat on the edge of her seat, leaning forwards with her legs crossed and her hands clasped together as though she were in church. There were various leaflets and business cards filed within the pages of the diary, and as Murray opened the front door, a photograph fell out. Anna reached for it. Sorry, I put it there so it didn't get creased. I was going to get it framed. Your mother, there in the yellow dress, and that's her friend Alicia. She died of an asthma attack when she was 33. Her daughter Laura is Mum's godmother. Murray remembered the pocket notebook entry from the attending officer, Laura Barnes' goddaughter. The woman, girls really in the photo were laughing outside a pub, their arms entangled so they looked like extensions of each other. In the background of the photo was a table of young men, one of whom was looking across at Alicia and Caroline admiringly. Murray could make out a wagon and horses on the swinging sign outside the building behind them. Funny place for a holiday, About as far as you can get from the sea. But Mum said they had the best time. Lovely photo. You never met Anna's parents, Mr. Hemmings. Sadly not. They both passed away before we met. In fact, it was because of them that we all met. Instinctively, both Mark and Anna look at their daughter, who Murray supposed would not have existed without the tragedy that had befallen the family. I'll speak to a crime scene investigator about the rabbits, but without examining it, I'm sorry, we didn't think. Anna shot a look at her partner. I'll just leave it there next time, shall I? Mark said. He spoke mildly, but with an undertone that suggests this was a conversation already had at least once. Let the flies have a really good go at it. It can't be helped. I've submitted the anniversary card to forensics. They'll check the fingerprints and DNA and try to enhance the postmark so we can have a better idea of where it came from. And I'll take a look through this diary, thank you. Murray passed the photo back to Anna, but she didn't put it in her bag. She held it in both hands, staring at the image as though she could bring it to life. I keep thinking I see her. She looked up. Mark moved his arm from the back of her chair to the shoulders. His lips were pressed tightly together as Anna tried to explain, at least not see her exactly, but feel her. I think she might be trying to tell me something. Does that sound mad? Mark spoke softly, as much to Murray as to Anna. It's very common for people who are grieving to imagine they see their loved one. It's a manifestation of emotions. You want to see them so badly you think, what if I'm not imagining it? There was an awkward pause. Murray felt as though he were intruding and wondered if he should fabricate a reason to leave the couple alone. Before he could move, Anna turned to him. What do you think? Do you believe in ghosts, in an afterlife? Police officers were by nature a cynical breed. Throughout his service, Murray had kept his thoughts on ghosts to himself, avoiding the ribbing that would inevitably have ensued. Even now, he didn't comment. One's belief or otherwise in the supernatural was a personal matter, like religion or politics, and not to be debated in a side room of a police station. I'm open to it. There were more things in heaven and earth, Shakespeare has said, than anyone could ever imagine. But that didn't make Murray's job any easier. He couldn't go to CID with a report that Anna Johnson was being haunted by a murdered relative. He leaned forward. Do you get a sense of what she might be trying to tell you? Murray ignored the almost tangible disparagement that was emanating from Mark Hemmings. I'm sorry. It's just a feeling. It was going to take more than a feeling to convince CID that Tom and Crown Johnson had been murdered. Nisha Carr had been a crime scene investigator back when they were called scenes of crime officers. Same shit, different job title, she'd say cheerfully. Give it another 10 years and some bright spark upstairs will be rebranding us. All so goes again. Not that Nash would be there in 10 years' time. She had been new in post when Murray was a young detective joining the force with a BTEC in photography, a strong stomach, and the enviable ability to get on with everyone. 30 years later, she was principal CSI, responsible for the force forensic team and counting down to her own retirement. Pet photography, she said. When Murray asked her plans, she laughed at the surprise on his face. The uniform's better, there's less blood. Have you tried being depressed when there's a kitten in the room? I can pick and choose my jobs. No more RC punters for me. And work my own hours, all very low key. More of a hobby than a job. They were sitting in the closed canteen when a triptych of vending machines served the weekend workers. Sounds like a good plan. Privately, Murray doubled Nish could do anything on a low key basis. Within 18 months of retirement, she'd be working flat out again. What are you doing over Christmas? On call. You? Nothing special, quiet one, you know. Is Sarah... Nish didn't do the head to at Highfield. Voluntary this time, she's fine. It sounded insincere even to Murray. You'd have thought he would have found Sarah's admission easier as time went by, but the last few occasions had drained him more than ever before. He was getting old, he supposed, finding stress harder to handle. What did you want to see me about, Nish? perceptive as ever, changing tack. How much blood is there in a rabbit? It was a measure of the variety of Nish's job and the breadth of her experience that the question provoked no surprise. A couple of 100 milliliters, if that, a small glassful, she added, seeing Murray's blank look. Enough to cover 3 steps? Nish scratched her head. You're going to have to give me a bit more to go on. Murray didn't mention the suicides at first. He recounted the report that Anna and Mark had made, and how Anna had been convinced the rabbit hadn't been placed there by an animal. I say she could be right. Murray leaned forward in anticipation, and Nish held up a warning finger. This is totally off the record and entirely hypothetical, understood? Without photos and without examining the scene, it is impossible for me to make a professional judgment. But blood in the quantity we're talking about doesn't pour out of prone rabbits. It seeps and it coagulates. So although 150 ml tipped on the floor would make a hell of a mess, if I dropped a glass of wine, the same amount oozing from a rabbit would congeal long before it dripped into the step below. Most of it would be caught in the fur. Right, so someone deliberately tipped blood on the other steps to make a more impressive crime scene. Sounds like it. The big question is why. Nish eyed Murray, her head tilted slightly to one side. There's more to this than you're telling me, isn't there? It wasn't a question. There were 2 suicides at Beecherhead last year, Tom and Caroline Johnson. They owned the car showroom on the corner of Main Street. Nish snapped her fingers. Left a black Audi in the car park, right? Rocks in his rucksack. You're good. That was Tom Johnson. His wife Caroline died 7 months later, exactly a year ago. Same place, identical method. Anna Johnson is their daughter. He passed Nish a plastic evidence bag containing an anonymous anniversary card, together with a photograph of the pieced together card. Suicide? Nish read out. Think again. She looked up, very dramatic. The suggestion being that she was murdered? That's certainly how Anna Johnson interpreted it. This morning she opened the door to find the rabbit smeared across the top step. Beats dog shit through the letterbox. What do you think? Other than the fact that it's a waste of a nice rabbit's pie, I think it's fishy. What do CID say? Not a lot. Nish had known Murray a long time. Oh, Murray, I'm doing the background work. That's all. You know what CID are like nowadays. Stretched to buggery. I'll package up for the DI as soon as there's something concrete to go on. Fingerprints, for example. He gave Nish a winning smile and pushed the exhibit back closer to her. Nish pushed it back. Not without our budget code, I'm afraid. Could you put it through on the original job? You know, I'm not supposed to do that. She lost both her parents, Nish. She's a new mother, desperately trying to hold it together without Mum there to give her moral support. You're going soft in your old age, whereas you're still hard as nails, of course. What was it you were saying about kittens? He pushed the evidence back across the table. This time she took it.